Hello everyone. I will present you my PhD project, which is about paleoclimatic reconstructions from fossil chironomids, with a methodological calibration part and an application to the study of northern maple stands in Quebec. I am studying at University of Montreal and Bourgogne-Franche-Comté University under the supervision of Olivier Blarquez and Laurent Millet. As we have seen in the Jordan's presentation, it is possible to perform paleo-environmental reconstructions from sedimentary archives. For instance, it's possible to reconstruct vegetation from pollen assemblages and wildfire regimes from charcoals. But a more limiting point concerns the reconstruction of climate, which is generally performed with pollen. However, it is not conceivable to study climate-vegetation relationships from the same proxy because it risks becoming circular reasoning. So it's possible to use climatic models, but the low temporal resolution and uncertainties often make them fail to identify statistical relationships. So the other possibility, which is adopted in our project, is to use other paleoclimatic proxies independent from vegetation, like subfossil chironomid assemblages. So the Chironomidae are a family of diptera with benthic aquatic larvae living at the water-sediment interface. So you can see here an example of an imago and of a larvae. And between each instar of the larvae, a cephalic capsule will be produced and stored into the sediment. So it's possible by taking sediment cores to find this cephalic capsule and reconstruct past chironomid assemblages. It has been shown in Quebec and in other parts across the world that the taxonomic composition of modern assemblages is mainly controlled by summer temperatures. So it's possible to use them as paleoclimatic proxies. To reconstruct past temperatures, we will use a modern distribution referential of the chironomid assemblages in surface sediments across several lakes on a large temperature gradient. And with a spatial calibration, we will create an inference model or transfer function. We will then apply this transfer function on fossil data from sediment cores in order to get quantitative temperature estimates. And this approach with subfossil chironomids is able to produce reliable reconstructions in accordance with other proxies and methodological measures. So in our research project, we will have firstly a methodological calibration part of chironomids for paleoclimate in eastern Canadian lakes. Secondly, we will have the purpose to reconstruct the Holocene summer temperatures of the mixed wood forest of Quebec. And then we will apply our paleoclimatic results to the study of the ecological history of two northern maple stands. Concerning the methodological calibration part, the current modern distribution referential for Quebec does not go further south than the coniferous boreal forest. So if you want to avoid an edge effect with underestimation of temperatures for more southern areas, we need to add new lakes in the mixed wood and hardwood forest of Quebec. This is why we added 10 lakes from Quebec Labrador in red on the map in summer 2019. And we got the data of Donna Francis for 36 lakes of New England in orange on the map. With a transformation-based ADA applied on the newly extended modern assemblages dataset, we find that the mean August air temperatures has the highest contribution on the first canonical axis. So we confirm the prominent role of summer temperatures for chironomids and then the potential for being the paleoclimatic indicators. If we apply this new training set on stratigraphic data, for instance, on Lake Aurelie from the PhD thesis of Lisa Bajolle, we will find similar climatic events identified. For instance, the 8,200 before present cold event, the Holocene thermal maximum, the neoglacial onsets, and the medieval climate anomaly, and the little ice age. But even if there are some global similar trends, there are also differences. For instance, the medieval climate anomaly and little ice age is well more marked with combined Quebec New England data, with an abrupt cooling at the end of the 13th century. Also, the temperature seems overestimated because it seems unrealistic that the temperatures were up to more than 4 degrees Celsius warmer than present during the Holocene thermal maximum. So that could be explained by the fact that New England lakes are for now the only warmer option for lakes like the Lake Aurelie, located in southern coniferous boreal forest. So we still need to complete the remaining gap in the temperature gradient between the two training sets. This is why we have sampled the La Vérendrye Wildlife Reserve in green on the map in summer 2021, and some lakes of Abitibi just last week. And we also plan another campaign in southern Quebec for summer 2022. Apart from the modern referential, another concern is the inference technique, because several are available. So our problem is how to choose the method to use. Here, this is an example with the output of 4 different methods. So 2 weighted average methods, namely weighted average partial least square and weighted average with inverse deshrinking, and 2 machine learning methods, namely random forest and boosted regression trees. So we can see that these 4 models provide similar reconstructions, but there's also some differences. So we would like to know how to choose the best method to have the most reliable temperature estimates. So one possibility approach is to use a multimodal approach. For instance, here with the median of the 4 different reconstructions, but we also plan independent testing of each model's performances on instrumental data with short sediment cores on the recent period. For our second objective, which is the Holocene summer temperatures reconstruction in the mixed wood forest of Quebec, we will analyze chironomids from 2 lakes located at the boreal temperature transition zone. We chose these both lakes because they are adjacent to northern maple stands. So sugar maple at Lake Bélanger and red maple at Lake Charrier. And we will apply the best method identified in the calibration part on the 2 records in order to get the synthetic paleoclimatic signal from the 2 sites. For the third and last part of this project, we will study the climatic influence on the ecological dynamics of 2 northern maple stands. So in this part, we will make the synthesis between climatic history from chironomids and ecological history from other paleo-environmental reconstructions, for instance, pollen and charcoals, in order to improve the understanding about the Holocene establishment of maple in this northern location. So if we will confirm the hypothesis of Jordan, for an establishment in response to the neglacial cooling with a decrease of white pine and increase of birch, which has improved the edaphic condition for maple. Also, if the sugar maple has been present in the past in more northern situations than present, and especially on red maple stands, because we can hypothesize that the red maple has make a facilitation for sugar maple to improve edaphic condition for make him established more easily in northern situation. Also, we will study the potential climatic influence on the extent and abundance variations of sugar maple stands on our study sites, because northern maple stands are generally restricted upslope, probably because of microclimatic factors. So we can hypothesize that climatic fluctuations has lead extent variation on the toposequences. So for instance, the medieval climate anomaly, where the temperatures were warmer, we can hypothesize that the northern maple stands has extended downslope. And ultimately, this results will help us to define an insight for maple structure in northern forests, and will potentially help industrials to adapt their management to the future climatic conditions with the ongoing global warming. Thank you for your attention, and I am at your disposal for any questions.